Hi, welcome to Gilgat's Country Kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making a mushroom beef stew let me rephrase that. We're going to be making a mushroom stew that is beefless, but you won't miss it. The mushrooms are actually going to take the place in this recipe, and you'll see it is just absolutely delicious. So we're going to get started first of cooking us some potatoes and carrots and letting them be softening up. And I'm going to be using my chopper here today, and I have one bag of these little niblets that I have washed, and I'm just going to put them in there sort of in the long ways manner and just go ahead and cut them, and that makes them semi just chunks where you're not getting a huge amount in your mouth at one time, and makes it just nice and quick. I have some water boiling, and real quick, I'm going to go ahead and put these carrots in because they're going to take the longest to cook. And what I like, you can get the little baby carrots, but I love these little snack size baby cut carrots because they are just often sweeter, they're faster to cook. And this is 4 packs of your carrots, okay, of the little snack size. They come in a 4-pack. So I'm just putting them in that boiling water there while we're getting everything else cut up. Let me set this over here, and we'll just let them get going here real quick, and while we finish cutting up our potatoes, and then we're gonna stick them potatoes in there. Won't take but a second with this nice chopper here. Boy, it saves you all kinds of time. It's just that simple. This recipe here is something you can make quick, that it doesn't take no time to pull it together. Just really the time that it takes for your potatoes and carrots to cook, you can about have everything else done and ready that's going to go in this, as you will see. So we're going to take these potatoes, and you see they're nice bite-sized little potatoes that we've got cut up. We're going to add them right in here with our carrots. Let me set that lid right over there. Get all these potatoes out, because we want these to be cooking while we're making our base for our stew and sauteing our peppers and our onions, or excuse me, not peppers and onions, but mushrooms and onions. All right, let's give these a stir, and we're going to let them cook. All we want is them to get soften up while we're getting the rest of our base made. So the next thing I'm going to do here is we're going to get our onions ready, because we're going to saute the onions and the mushrooms together. Okay, we just have to cut them in half using the same chopper. Just give it a whack. There you go. And I've already got 16 ounces of mushrooms, portabella mushrooms, that I have already cut up. I just sliced them into between an eighth and a quarter of an inch little slices here. They vary a little bit, but I just sliced them up, 16 ounces of those. Okay, so now we have our nice diced onions, and we have our mushrooms. All right, that's going to go into our frying pan. Just a second, let me get my plate out of the way. Okay, we're going to take and we're going to add some oil. Let's cut our eye on here. Okay. And we're just going to cut this on. Put some oil in here, around about 1 to 2 tablespoons, depending on what you like. It's a little bit for flavoring, and it's a lot for frying up. These are not really frying, but sauteing the onions and the mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and put these onions in. Let me fix this temperature a little bit. Okay. Alrighty, let's let the onions get going first. And we're just going to cook them a minute because when we put the mushrooms in, they're going to add liquid to it because the juice will, come out of the mushrooms and it will soften everything. So I want to get the onions first cooking and let them start caramelizing just a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and because that adds flavor. All those little things that you do step by step, a lot of times in recipes, is for flavor, and that's what we want to do. So while those are starting to cook, we're going to take and make a base over here that we're going to be pouring in. I'm going to be using this better than bouillon. This is a beef substitute for beef flavoring, and it makes a really good taste in your gravies. And I'm going to take a tablespoon because we're making a large stew. If you can cut this recipe in half very easily as well, but we're going to take and we're going to mix this into 2 cups of hot water. Okay, and just stick that. And what I did is I just heated up some hot water and put into this little measure so that I could put this in there. And you're just going to dissolve that in it, and you're going to make your broth here. All right? And just get all that goodness off of there. All that good stuff. Okay, so we have that ready. I'm just going to lay that right there with the mushrooms. Flavor them a little bit. Okay, so we just stir that up. Set this aside. Let's go check on our onions. Okay, they're going. They smell so good. Onions they have such a nice smell when you start cooking them, and they just make the house smell good. Okay, we'll let them cook. Just spread them out in the pan there and let them cook. We want them to get translucent and softening up. And if you just let them sit there a minute, they'll start browning a little bit, which is what we call caramelizing them just a little bit, if I can get that word out. All right, our potatoes and carrots are cooking. All right. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and be measuring out here and getting this ready. Well, let me put this out of the way first. We're going to add a teaspoon, a good teaspoon of garlic in our mixture here as well. And I'm not adding the salt right now because the bouillon base has a saltiness to it. So I don't want to add that in quite yet. Okay. Let's check this out again. As you see, there's some of them starting to get a little brown on them like there. That's what we're wanting. That's whenever we know the flavors are really releasing out of this onion, and you can just smell it. It's just coming out. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and add our mushrooms in because we want the onions to actually, give that flavor and move it on over to the mushrooms. Mushrooms will absorb the flavors that they're in. So they soak it in sort of almost like a little sponge. And so when we get these cooked down and get them ready, I'm going to show you what they're going to look like before we put the bouillon base in that we have mixed. And then we're going to let that cook together, and the mushrooms are going to take the flavor, which is what makes instead of having the chunks of the beef or the beef stew in it, the mushrooms take that place, and the bouillon that we just mixed up actually soaks into these mushrooms, and that's what gives it that flavor. So it's really, really nice. Okay, we're going to let those cook a minute. Let's stir these carrots and potatoes. Okay, and they're going. And we don't want to cook them to death. We just want to get them nice and soft. That's our goal. Okay, this makes a really nice pot of stew that you can serve. Just, I like to just pour it right over a piece of bread, some homemade bread, or you have some cornbread you can serve with it, or just by itself. It's great. It's good just the way it is. Okay, we want these mushrooms to soften up and get a little bit tender before we. Whoop, I got a whole one in there I didn't get cut up. Before we go any further with our recipe here, let's just cut this one up. There we go. I think I got all the rest of them. That one was a hiding on me. I'm gonna lay that right there and just use that as our little holder there for a minute. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let that cook down just a minute. And then once the carrots and the potatoes have softened up, some of the water has cooked out of them, we're going to put these peas in there, and then we're going to finish making our base, and we'll add the two together, and then we're going to have a great stew. So we'll be back in just a minute once I get this cooked down so you can see the next step. Okay, our mushrooms and onions are about done. You see how they look. The onions are very softened. The mushrooms, I've let it sit here, and if you just let it sit there, don't stir it too often, it will brown some of the mushrooms. See how they get a little brownness to them? And that's what we want it to do. So these are about ready. Our potatoes and carrots are soft. And I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off of them because I want to be able to just take some of the liquid here down. Okay, we're just going to set this out of the way. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take our bouillon that we mixed up. I'm going to just give it a stir and make sure nothing's settled. We're going to pour that right in. Okay. All right, and let that get hot and cooking. And what we're going to do is, let me give that just a little stir, because we want it to sit here and cook a minute and let the mushrooms take in that flavor. And while we're doing that, we're going to take our peas, and these are just some sweet little baby peas that they cook fast. We're going to put them right in that mixture and let them get heated up while we're mixing up our thickener for our base here. Okay. We're going to let that just come up and come to a boil and get those peas cooking. It doesn't take no time for frozen peas to cook. Usually, 10 minutes and they're done. So that's the good thing about them, and we want them to just get in there and get all these flavors going. See how all this is just coming together so beautiful. See our potatoes and our carrots. We can check those and see how the fork goes in there real softly, and the carrot. There you go. So we know that they're done. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and get that cut up good. So what I'm going to do now is take a 1/4 cup of flour, and this is just my extra flour I use when I'm making bread. I keep a little bit in my thing, but it's just all-purpose flour. So a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. And nutritional yeast is very good for you. It's high in your B vitamins. Let's see if I got a quarter in this one. We'll just get all it's got and make it happen. But you want a quarter of a cup unless you're just a hair shy like me. Okay? We're going to blend that together. And just mix it together here. And what we're going to do is add 1 cup of just cool water. Not hot water, cool water. To this mixture here. And keep you in a little water also on hand just in case you have to thin anything down or what have you whenever we get ready to pour this in. Okay. We'll just blend that up real good. Make sure there's no lumps in it. And see, if you would have directly added the flour and the nutritional yeast into the hot mixture, it would have just lumped up. It would have made a bunch of lumps in it. And we don't want that. So you mix it in cool water first. And then when we pour this over in to our hot mixture over here, it's going to thicken it up and cream it up. And this is what makes the stew so creamy and nice and just wonderful to the mouth to eat. Okay, we're starting to boil here. And it smells so good. Just give those peas a minute to cook in. And remember, the mushrooms at this point, they're soaking in that bouillon, that beef bouillon substitute that we made. And it is soaking that in. So that's what's going to give our stew that beef-like flavor to it, even though there's no meat in it. And you just won't miss it. It's so good. And it's a healthy way to be able to every now and then, if even if you are not vegan or vegetarian or what have you, it's a good way to have one night a week of getting a few extra vegetables and things in your diet that is just so good. It's a good way to do that. But we're going to let this simmer for just a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and get our carrots and our potatoes drained so they'll be ready, and we'll continue with this in just a second. Okay, we got the potatoes and the carrots all drained, and they're nice and good. So now we're going to take this base here, and I saved out a little bit of the water, the broth from the potatoes and carrots. And just always remember that when you boil any vegetables and you go to strain them, save that liquid on them, because that's a great broth and a great base for soups, and you can always make something else out of it. So we're going to slowly pour in our thickener here, and it's going to really thicken things up pretty quick. We want to get all that mixed in. Okay. See how thick it's gotten it? Alrighty. So we're going to get that nice and thick, everything coated. And if you don't put the peas in it, and you just make the onions, the mushrooms, and this gravy base, oh my goodness, it is so good to just pour over a burger patty or just over a slice of bread. It is so good. The taste is just amazing. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some of that potato carrot broth. Thin this down a little bit. I may pour a little bit in this and get some of that that's left over in there. Okay. And into our potatoes and carrots, we're going to pour this mixture and get everything going. Okay. Now I'm going to cut the eye back up a little bit on this so I can bring everything together. And get everything out of there. These are some great pans, I tell you. Honey. Okay. We're going to bring this together and we're going to add some more of that liquid in there. And like I said, you may have to, add more water. But look at that. Is that not beautiful or what? That looks so good. What we want to do is just simmer this for about 5 to 10 minutes. Just let all the flavors come together with the potatoes, the carrots, and all of this base that we had. And just let it all come together. And we'll just let it sit here and simmer and thicken up. I've added some extra liquid into it just to be able to give it enough that everything can just sort of soak in and come together. And boy, this makes a beautiful, beautiful stew. So when we get ready to plate it up, we'll be showing you that in just a minute. Okay, look at what we have here. Is that not beautiful or what? That is so wonderful. And we're just going to serve this up. Look at that. Look how nice that is. And just makes a warm, beautiful meal right there. And make sure I don't have it running down the sides of my bowl. I'm good at that, We'll just wipe that off. There we go. And we're going to have us some nice mushroom stew. We can't call it beef stew, even though it tastes a lot like it. We call it mushroom stew. All right? Creamy, wonderful, full of all kinds of nutrients and just a beautiful, beautiful, fast, easy recipe to make. I hope that y'all will enjoy this. I hope you'll make this for your family and just pass this recipe on down the line. And, just remember that no matter what your day looks like or what you've been through or what's going on in your life, just find the good in it and let the good outweigh the bad. And keep your mind focused on positive things. Eat healthy, drink plenty of fluids, and praise God with all of your heart. And your life, it'll turn around, and what's today will not be tomorrow. Plant the good seeds. And I just really appreciate you all for just subscribing to our channel and sharing. And as we go on this journey of building this channel, we just want you to know how much we appreciate you watching. And we hope that you'll love the recipes we're putting out. Most of these recipes that I share are all recipes that I've made up through the years and just put together, trying to really just make good meals for my family. And I hope that you will hand those down and share those with your children and your family. And let's grow this channel and let's do it together. We appreciate you so much. God bless you. Have a good night.